Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this session. Welcome to DevFest Northeast 2021. I'm Roman. I am a Flutter GDE. I am GDG organizer at GDG Lawrence. I am the GDG Northeast mentor as well. And I just welcome everybody to this very hands-on Flutter session that I've put together just for you guys. I'm calling it Coding Roulette Edition because, again, this session is going to be very interactive, very hands-on, but it has a twist. You're going to be coding with me. So that's exactly what this session is about. There's no more like a Flutter GDE just talking on his end and people just falling asleep on your end. No, you're going to be part of the experience. I'm going to be making you part of the session. You're going to be coding along with me, whether you want to follow along on the codelabs or whether I'm just going to give you control of my session so that you can join. I'm going to show you exactly how that's going to be about. So again, welcome everybody, wherever you're joining from. Thank you so much for joining this session. Oh, you love the shirt, Julian? Thank you. Yeah, exactly. I want to dress for the occasion. So again, thank you again for joining, and I hope you win later. So yeah, on the raffle. So thank you guys for joining. Let's move along. So again, I'm just going to put it out there. These are just some of my social media links so that you can join and you can, yeah, Paul just found me. Okay, great. Bring your friends over as well. Thank you, Paul, for joining. So yes, these are some of the links through which you can follow me. I have a YouTube channel where I post a bunch of these talks and a lot about Flutter, like some of the collabs that I've put together, some of the sessions, and even videos on how to build applications in Flutter. I'm going to be doing very soon, I'm going to continue doing Twitch live streaming where you see me code live via Twitch. Also, you can visit my portfolio site where I've posted some of the apps that I've built in Flutter, some other platforms as well. And last but not least, you can follow me on Twitter at DRCoders. I'm going to just drop the link also in the chat if you guys want to do that, if you haven't done so. But I would appreciate if people just follow me there, because there I post a bunch of things, a bunch of some of these great events, a lot of resources that I put out there for those of you starting in Flutter or for those of you who want to be better at Flutter. So welcome everybody. Okay, so let me just put it out there, some community guidelines. Just wanted to make sure that, again, we're all adults here, but we want to be nice. We want to create a very respectful and welcoming environment. We're all here to share knowledge, not to be mean to one another, whatever. Let's be collaborative. So be good. Those are the community guidelines. Again, if you just stumbled upon this presentation, again, this is going to be about Flutter, this amazing UI toolkit provided by Google, open source by Google, that with one single code base using Dart, the Dart programming language, you can publish and you can deploy to multiple platforms, not just mobile. Flutter is used for embedded, desktop, web, mobile, with one single code base using Dart. Again, for this workshop, there's not like a strong prerequisite, but at least I would expect if at least you know what Flutter is and you have maybe even built a simple hello world, that is enough for me to get you up to speed. Otherwise, if you don't know what Flutter is, you're truly brand new to Flutter, you haven't seen what this is before, you don't even know, you just came in here, you don't know what Flutter is, I would invite you to visit one of my workshops that I've put together specifically for this type of audience. I'm going to be sharing that link right now on the chat, because these are the ones that I've put together in this chat are very basic, very introductory, and it would get you from zero to hero in how to develop applications in Flutter. So those are very beginner workshops that I've put together, and I want to share it with the community. But at least for this workshop, I would expect that you know a little bit of what Flutter is. You don't have to have published an application, but at least have a notion of what Flutter is, and you want to become better at developing and architecting your Flutter applications. So this is at least the minimum prerequisite. Also, I'm going to make this session very interactive. So I would expect for those of you who want to participate, join me at slido.com with the code 880870. The code 880870. allows you to join a very interactive, very highly interactive session that I'll be conducting. And at the middle of the session, I'm going to be doing a very very interactive like quiz and stuff like that. Just wanted to get some feedback from everybody. So I would appreciate if everybody joins at slido.com with the code 880-870 so that you can engage in the session, make it very interactive. It's not just me talking. I want to hear from you as well. So why don't you guys join me? I just first question, just kind of like as an icebreaker for folks in here just joining. So from 1 through 5, what's your level of coding expertise? It could be Flutter, it could be any other programming language that you may be focused on. Please join me at slido.com with the code 880-870. Just drop me there. Like, what's your coding expertise? I just want to gauge the experience in the audience. Just want to see where people are in their development careers, whether most of the people are beginners, or some of you are mid-level, some of you are advanced, you are at the top of your game, and you're just here to learn something else. So I see that the audience is a little bit split, but that's awesome, because this session again is beginner friendly. But this is because if you want to become a Flutter developer, you want to learn how to architect your applications, I'm going to show you exactly that. At the end of this session, I'm going to give you a very customized codelabs that you can follow along on your own and build your applications the right way, without gimmicks, without like complex words. I'm not here to drop big words on you. I'm here to drop knowledge that you can use to develop applications, and you can put them in production, be a better Flutter developer, and maintain your code well. So no gimmick, no big words, no big notation for you to do Flutter. No, you don't need to do that. let me show you. I'm going to show you in just a minute. So let's continue. What's your IDE of choice? I want to see what your IDE or code editor of choice is. Personally, I use Visual Studio Code. Sometimes I've used like Xcode for developing like iOS applications in Objective-C. I've done Android Studio, IntelliJ for Android. I've even done, like, believe it or not, I've done like Vmax and like Nano even to do Flutter, believe it or not. Google Colab, amazing. Those are like amazing IDEs that you can do for like data science. You want to do Python on the cloud. That's amazing. VS Code, as always, takes the cake sometimes. But again, don't go by that. You pick the type of IDE that makes you productive and that, hey, you're fun, you're having fun using it and whatnot. It doesn't matter. As long as you're productive, you're having fun with it, you integrate with your team, you pick your editor of choice. I love VS Code because it has a bunch of plugins. You'll see it right now once I start the session. Awesome. I love the participation, and you see VS Code is kind of like prevailing right there. But again, like I said, not the de facto one. You can pick anything. Even for Flutter, you can do it in VI. Yes, you can even do it in VI. Exactly. Great. Thank you, everyone, for participating. That's exactly what I was expecting from you. One more, like after work, what type of stuff do you do? Like, do you work on side projects? Do you just relax and binge watch like a bunch of movies? You do maybe arts and craft, you do anything, or you do a little bit of both? Me, myself, I like to also, spend time with family, but I also like to spend time, doing like side gigs, side projects, stay on top of the latest and greatest as far as like Flutter and the industry. So I try to do a little bit of both. I just wanted to see where you are in your career, in how you do like a very good work-life balance, right? Like after work, what I do is like I engage in projects. I do these kind of things. I prepare presentations for you like that. But again, I try to do like a very good balance. That's all. But you see that a lot of people do a bit of both. That's perfect. Side projects, again, like if you just do that's your thing, you want to excel in your career, you want to maybe even do a startup, like start a startup, in your life. Awesome. So I appreciate everybody joining and just sharing some of your experiences. Great. So now let's start. What we're going to be using for this workshop, you don't need to use Visual Studio Code. You don't have to install anything. We're going to be using a web-based IDE for Flutter called DartPad. If you haven't heard of that, if you go to dartpad.dev, I'm going to drop the link right here. If you go to dartpad.dev, if you go there, that is an IDE, a web-based IDE for Flutter and Dart. You don't have to install anything. Immediately you can start coding, and you should be able to even grab that code and take it and continue working. So that is an amazing IDE that we're going to be using. Let me explain what this workshop is about. So we're going to be doing a very collaborative code lab. So how do you participate in this workshop? Well, you either go to dartpad.dev and you follow along on these code labs that I have prepared for you. So we're going to start with code lab number 1. I'm actually going to be dropping these 2 code labs, and I'm going to pin them at the top of the screen. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to pin them at the top. So actually, I think I pinned the wrong one. So let me do it. Let me do it again. If you expect, oh yeah, you just picked up the first one. So let me do it again, and let me pin the whole message right here. So let me pin the message. If you see at the top, you will have on the left-hand side of the screen. I don't know if you can see it. On the right-hand side, at the top of the right-hand side, you will see the 2 code labs that I've pinned for you so that you can follow along in this session. So we have code lab number 1 and code lab number 2. These are the code labs that I've prepared for this session, and you want to do it on your own, that's totally fine. You can open up another tab. You open up dartpad.dev on one side, and then you follow along on these 2 code labs. Now, if you want to participate in the workshop, like if you really, actually, let me just copy the code, copy the link. If you want to participate and you want to, if you want me to pick your name out of a roulette, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Let me do it again. So this code roulette is that I'm going to pick somebody random from the audience. If you want to participate, again, totally up to you. I'm going to be dropping the link on the chat. If you want to participate in the code roulette, you just put your name in that link that I just provided, is already here on the screen. I'll pick your name randomly. I will give you a link so that you can join my session remotely and you can code along with me. So instead of you just doing it on your own, which is again option 1, you can just do your code on your own, or you follow along with me and you join my session via a LiveShare link. What this link will do is that I'll give you the link, you connect to my Visual Studio session, and you can code along. If anybody wants to just join this session, please, on this link that I just dropped on the chat, put your name in there. And then I'm going to pick your name out of a roulette. And then if your name gets picked, I'm going to bring you up to the stage, give you access to my code via the LiveShare link, and then you're going to be able to code along. Let's start so I can show you what that is about. So I hope that everybody is excited as me to code along with me in this session. Are we ready? Let's start. We've talked too much. Let's start. We're ready to start with this. I'm just going to move this over, and I'm going to be sharing right now what is the application that we're going to be building. So for those of you, you're going to be doing DartPad. I'm also going to be doing DartPad, but this is the application that we'll be building. All those code labs that I've given you, this is the application that we're building. Let me put it like right here in the middle. I can just demo the application first. So this application is a Flutter application that I created specially for this code lab, for this session. Let me do it again. So it's like a donut shop application. Like it has a splash screen. This application will have a page viewer that you can just paginate through a couple of images. You have like a filter component. You see it even has a navigation that allows you to filter the products in your application, like a bunch of donuts. Imagine like this is like a donut shop and they want to sell their donuts. So this is the application that we're developing here. Any fans of donuts? I know that I'm probably making people making people hungry. Oh, actually, take advantage of your Uber Eats that have been dropped in this for this DevFest. Hey, grab some donuts if you want. So also this application will have nested navigations. Like you can actually have like a favorites page. You can have like a shopping cart, and you can even have like a drawer. Like you can add like a menus in there. Also from this application, you will be able to like select one product, and you can see the details of the application. Yeah, Krispy Kreme. That's right. Yeah, I actually stole those images from Dunkin' Donuts. So yeah, those are the images from there. Yes. So check this out. You can actually, like I showed you, you can select the details of that application, of that product. You can add them to your cart. You can favorite those products if you want to. And if you go back, you can pick another one as well. You can add them to a cart. You can add them to the favorites, and you can see like the number in your shopping cart, like incrementing. You can also again navigate to the screen, to the shopping cart. You can see all the items that you have in there. You'll see like the price of all your items in your shopping cart. You can delete items out of the shopping cart, and you see the price like being deducted. And you can see, you can go back to the favorites as well. You can clear all those things from your favorite. So see, I've created this application for you in just this little bit of codelabs, all using animations, using state management, stateful and stateless widgets, like all the goodies in Flutter, all combined into this amazing session. So are you ready to start building this application with me? If you are, give me either a thumbs up in the chat or a +1. Let's start right away. This is the application. Again, like I said, you can even copy paste exactly the code that is on those codelabs. I've only given you the first two. I'm gonna give you at the end of this session the remaining codelabs, so that then you can go ahead and go to town. You can use the same application to build your application because it has like all the goodies to make an application very robust, but not just robust, like really slick, make it really cool, like with those animations that you can leverage. So great, I see that everybody else is ready. Let's start right away. So I'm going to move this away. I'm going to crack open my Visual Studio Code, and you will see that we will start from scratch, completely from scratch. So for those of you following along, again, remember, we have two codelabs to follow. The codelabs have been pinned at the top of the screen, and you can see it right there. If you're coming right now, you can join via DartPad.dev. So let me go again, DartPad.dev. This is a very useful IDE that you can use to code Flutter in your browser. The way to create a session in DartPad is you click on the top left corner, right here on the top left corner, you click where it says new pad. On the top left corner in DartPad.dev, you click where it says new pad. You click OK to create a new pad, and then you pick either Dart or Flutter. We're going to pick Flutter, and then you hit create. So it creates you a brand new session that you're going to be following along. If you don't want to participate in the code roulette, you can just follow along, and here you are. You can just hit run, and then let's say you write a little bit of code. This is just like some boilerplate code that you're going to get. And then when you hit run, you should be able to see the output here on the right-hand side. See, like you start with a hello world, right? So now I want you to follow along with me with the first CodeLab of this session. So let me put it right here. Again, the CodeLab links have been pinned to the chat at the top, but I can put it again for you in the chat. I'm going to be dropping CodeLab number 1. If you didn't find it anyway, they're pinned to the top. So let's start. So this is CodeLab number 1, and we're just reviewing what this application is all about. So this application will be a very simple but well-architected Flutter application consisting of a splash screen. We're gonna have like a landing page where you're gonna see all the products. You're gonna see a details page. When you select one of those detail pages, one of those items, you can see like the details on that product. You're gonna have like a shopping cart, and you're gonna have a favorites page. So again, all these codelabs, all of them together combined to create this application. We may not be able to complete the whole application in this session, but at least I'm gonna put you on the right track so that you can go ahead and finish it on your own. But at least this session is for us to collaborate, to work together, to build an application together, and me to give you like those tips and tricks, okay? So let's proceed. This is overview step number 1 on CodeLab number 1. I just dropped the link in the chat. So again, like I said, some of the prerequisites are using DartPad and then following along in this with this session, right? Perfect. We're going to be using LiveShare. LiveShare is a plugin in Visual Studio Code that I'm going to be picking up the names of the folks that have signed up for the code roulette. Or even right now, if you just say, oh, I just joined, I want to join, I can copy your name and put it in the list. I'm going to show you how that's going to work. So I show you already how to launch DartPad in step number 3 of Colab number 1. You will be seeing how to do that, so you can follow the steps on how to launch DartPad, and then we can start coding. So just follow along on those. Like I showed you, very simple. Just do new pad, create a new pad, select Flutter, hit create, and then you have your very own session of Flutter on the web without installing anything. Perfect. Let's continue. So is everybody okay? Raj, if you want to join, let me give you the link again to the code roulette, because I'm going to be calling people out. And you just put your name in there. Let me just grab the link again one more time for some of you guys. Again, in the chat, I've dropped and Chandru, thank you guys. So just put your name in that link that I've provided. That's just like a forms. So just put your name in there. I'm going to grab your names, put it in the roulette, and then I'm going to pick names randomly, and I'm going to bring them up to the stage. How does that work? Okay, perfect. So let's just proceed. The initial setup is that the first thing that we're going to be doing in this application, we're going to be building the splash screen. So the splash screen it's going to be nothing but just like a couple of containers with some images in there. I'm going to walk you step by step on how to build this, even adding an animation. Let's go. So the first thing I'm showing you here in this code lab, exactly how we're going to be building this splash screen. So the splash screen will be the first screen that we'll be showing when we're building this application. So if you're starting right now, the first thing that you're going to be doing is setting up the main method. The main method is the most important method in a Flutter application, so you need to have that. So I would invite you to just copy this code, and just to let you know, most of the code in here is not copy pastable, because I'm forcing you to copy it. That's how you learn Flutter. You have to practice a lot. So I'm just going to put like a few pieces of code for you to copy. So let's start by copying this piece of code right here. I'm going to zoom in. And then you see that here it's just setting up, importing like some libraries, and doing the first method of a Flutter application, which is the main method. So I'm going to copy that. And if you're in DartPad, just completely erase everything that you have in your session. For example, I'm just going to do Control-A, select all, delete everything, and just drop this little bit of code right here. So what we're doing right now is just setting up the first method in the application. The first method in the application is the main method, the most important method. That's what launches the application. Okay. So now let's proceed to the next piece. So the next part is that you need to build the first widget of the application, which is the material app widget. Remember, everything in Flutter is a widget. So you continue by creating a run app method, which is part of the framework, and then you load the first widget of the application, which is called material app. Even the whole application is a widget, right? So let's just copy this code, copy it, and put this inside of the main method. So you copy that, the code in there that says run app, and then it launches the material app. Let's just put it right in here inside of the main method. There you go. So let me dissect this code again. So what we're doing, let me just do this. So what we're doing is we're inside of the main method, we're calling the run app method, which is a method from the framework. And then we're loading the first widget, a material app widget. We're disabling some debugging, the debugging sash, and we're loading the first page that we want to show, which is called home. Like you assign it to the home property of your material app widget. We're going to create the first page called splash page. That's how you do like the first piece of the application. Right now, it's not like running anything, but now, and you see like this red squiggly, that means this widget hasn't been created. So we need to create the splash page and then attach it to the main widget of the application. Okay, so let's start creating that splash page widget. Okay, so, and you see that your code should be fine just like that. Now we're going to continue to the next step, and then we're going to be creating the splash page widget. If you're going to create, or when you're creating custom widgets in Flutter, you create them by creating a custom class. You could call it anything, but it has to extend either stateless widget or stateful widget. The difference between the two, remember, stateless widget just renders on the screen. Stateful widget maintains state and then rebuilds at multiple stages during the changes of your state. Then the widget rebuilds. So that is the difference between stateless and stateful. Stateful preserves state. Stateless doesn't maintain state. So now I want somebody to help me to create the first custom widget, which is the splash page widget. What I'm gonna do, remember what I said, I'm gonna be picking people, whoever signed up for this session, like this specific session. Let me just grab the names of the people who filled out the survey. I'm sorry, the forms for the coding roulette. I believe I have a few folks already. Actually, let's grab these 4 folks. Great. I have Paul, Samina, Chandru, and Raj. So let's grab you guys. I'm just going to grab your names. I'm going to put it into a wheel of names. This is how it's going to work. So I'm just going to go wheel of names, right? This is how we're going to do it. We're going to make it very interactive, right? So I'm just going to copy your names in there. And there you go. So we have 4 folks that are going to join. And thank you again, those of you who are want to be part of the experience. For those of you who want to follow along on your own, perfect as well. So let's just pick the first person who's going to join me. I'm just going to spin the wheel. I think, yeah, I already have those guys. So let me spin the wheel. I'll show you how you're going to join. First, let's pick the person, right? So let's see. Samina is going to join me in the code roulette. So let me show you how that's going to work. So I'm going to come over here into my Visual Studio. I'm going to have exactly the same thing that I have here on the code. In my Visual Studio session, I'm just going to drop the code, exactly the same code that I have. I'm going to generate a link using LiveShare, which is right here. Let me show you. LiveShare is actually, again, like I said, it's a plugin for Visual Studio. So if you don't have that plugin, you can just come over here immediately. You say LiveShare, and LiveShare is this extension that you add to Visual Studio. Well, I actually have it already. So I'm just gonna start the session right away. So if I start that my LiveShare session, let me show you. I'm going to be, yeah, this is my application. I'm going to launch the session in just a minute. Let me just bring it right over because I have like all these things right here. So I have those dependencies and my LiveShare session. I need to bring it up now. So I think I have to restart my Visual Studio, but this is a session. This is a plugin that you can use even on your own. So I'm going to make sure that my my LiveShare session is, I'm gonna like uninstall it and then reinstall it again just to make sure, and then reload it. Because this LiveShare, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you like a link. Then with that link, you're gonna be able to join remotely via the web, and then you can code with me. Let me show you. So I'm going to, I believe it will require me to reload my application. So I'm just gonna restart Visual Studio. And I'm going to show you, you're going to have a lot of fun. Like when you do that, then once you reload, you're going to be able to see what I'm coding, and then you're going to be able to code it, coding along as well. So I'm going to bring up again my Visual Studio session. Here it is. Just bring it again. Here it is. Okay. So now the Visual Studio, I'm going to be able to launch that LiveShare session from my Visual Studio. So let me show you again. If I come over, there we go. Okay. So now if I want to do that LiveShare in my code over here, it's like I believe it's installing that link. But again, you can use that on your own as well. You should be able to add like that plugin so that you can maybe collaborate with your friends and whatnot. You can definitely do that. Let me just that I have that, so it's still just like reloading. So is everybody good with the codelabs? Is everybody like following along? Are you guys like creating your own things? Like you can just continue along on the codelab. You can definitely do that. So let me make sure that the LiveShare extension is working so I can launch it. LiveShare, that was the one that I was mentioning. Here it is. Perfect. So now all I need to do is just make sure that my LiveShare session works in here locally. And then all I need to do, yeah, exactly. So let me just that. When I do like the coding here, like it should display here on the right hand side, like the code, like the link. Let me try it again so that I can do the. Okay, here we go. Live share. There it is. So now I'm gonna start sharing. So I'm gonna say share. Again, you can use this on your own as well, or you can join like a read-only session. So I'm gonna be sharing my details. So exactly here, I can say I can generate like a specific link so that people can join, or share in read-only. So I'll do that. So let me do that. Let me make sure that I am launching that piece. Got it. So I think for some reason, like it's not like it doesn't want to like launch my details. Here it is. Okay. So if I just share, I should have been able to see the link showing up for me. So let me just give it a minute. Got it. So if I see, like, this is the share that I should be able to load it with you guys. For some reason, like the link is not working. If not, all we can do is just continue along, and then I can bring people up like in a minute. But at least I just wanted to make sure that the live share session, which is what we wanted to do, like works here in this session. So see, like it's already there. All I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna close my I'm gonna close Visual Studio again, quit Visual Studio Code, bring it up again, and then see if the live share link is working. So I'm just gonna bring it up again. Awesome. Yes, that session, that link, that the live share, you can use it even like at your job. Like you can even have people like join your sessions. Like they can see your code, they can code along with you, like that. So let me just try again, just to make sure that the live share. So there we go. That's live share. So for some reason, the live share like doesn't want to work in this particular one. Yeah, for some reason, like it's not loading. Live sharing, did it? Okay, there it is. I think it's gonna enter your URL. Okay, that's what it is. So I have to start the session myself. That's what it is. So let me try it again. Live share, right? Yeah, it's already, okay, there it is. So it's already loaded. I just wanted to make sure that my see, for some reason, like it's not loading like the live share. It's actually part of it's part of this see, like it should show like oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. So now we're good. I just needed to make sure that this live share session was there. So now let's start. Okay, live share, I'm creating a link. Sorry about that, guys. You know, technical issues and whatnot, they usually happen during a live session. So now I have my session. I'm gonna be dropping this link in there. Now, those of you, even everybody, you want to join that session, you can. This session will give you a read-only session into my code. If now what you're going to be doing, I'm going to be seeing people joining my session. Remember, if you want to join this session, make sure to put your name and join as anonymous. So I'm going to show you how to join that session. So the link that I just dropped in the chat, when I click on that link, you can join via the browser into my Visual Studio Code. So when you get this session, instead of launching Visual Studio Code, you're going to say continue as anonymous. This is on the browser. You're going to say continue as anonymous, and then you put your name up here. For example, I'm going to say Roman Evil Twin. Let's say I'm going to be joining myself in my own session, like as another person. So when you do that, you put your name in there, and then you hit enter. When you join this session, I will be able to see your name. Oh, look, Raj is there. My evil twin is already there. So now I'm expecting some of the rest of you guys to join. If you want to join, and if you just don't want to participate, you just want to look at the code, you can also join using that link. I don't mind. I'm not going to pick you out of the list, but at least you can see that session. So let's continue now, and I'll just wait for some of the rest of you guys to join. Again, this is going to be a very collaborative, very highly collaborative. See, Kevin is already loaded already. Thank you, Kevin, for joining. Anybody else wants to join, just do the, make sure to join. This is read only for everybody, but now if you want to participate, you're just going to join in there. So let's, I see a few folks already joining. That's perfect. So let's continue. So now that I see a few folks in there, now remember what I mentioned. I need someone to help me now code the splash page of this application. So now that I'm here in the code lab, I've already picked, was it you, Raj? Raj, I think you were the one who won the code roulette. Now I want you to help me build this splash page. I'm going to be zooming out of here, and I'm going to be moving the code on the right hand side. So I want you to help me out by building the splash page of this application. So I'm going to now give you write-only capabilities so that you can join me and help me with this session. So I'm gonna pick you there. I'm gonna make you read and write. So now you're able to code along. And now, if you guys will see, Raj will help me build the splash page of this application. So the splash page is nothing more than there you go. So he already even copied the code. He already have it, and he just pasted it. That was quick. Thank you, Raj. So he just added the piece of code that we needed in the application. So there it is. So now we have the splash page, and then Raj was able to help us with that. So I'm going to save this application. I'm going to rebuild, and let's see. Actually, I need to connect, of course, to my emulator, and let's see what we see. So I'm going to say Flutter run, and I'm going to rebuild the application. And you see what Raj did. He created a class that extends stateless widget, and then it overrides the build method, and then returns a scaffold out of that. So I'm going to save here. I am rebuilding the application, and then you will see it in a minute. We should be able to see what Raj did in here. Like it should just load. So again, I encourage you guys to use this sharing link because it allows for like a lot of collaboration and stuff like that. So that's awesome. Paul, you just joined. Thank you. If your name gets picked, you're gonna come up and build this up and help me build this application as well. So we have the main pieces already in place. I see that everybody is already logged in. So I just logged out, but I hope that everybody else stays. My application is building. We already went through the code. We're just waiting for it to build, right? Perfect. So let me just, while that's going on, let me just go again and show you what we should be seeing when we finish loading this application. So after you create your custom widget, which is the splash page, we should just be able to see a scaffold with just the background color in the back. That's it. Simple as that. Raju, stay right there because you're going to help me out with the next piece. That way I don't have to take you out of the session, right? Got it. So once we do that, we're waiting for it to rebuild. We can continue down on the workshop. So the right here in this particular code lab, I created like some values and some like hard-coded pieces that I don't want you to be like copy pasting all the time. That I called it like a utils class. So in that utils class, we have a bunch of colors. We have a bunch of images that we're pulling online. So Raj just pasted that piece of code in here. I'm just going to move this code over, and then I'm just going to show you. It's just a bunch of like values, paths, and images that I don't want you to be like copy pasting like long stuff that I just wanted you to keep there on the side. So thank you, Raj, for pasting that in there. Let's see what it looks like on our application. There it is. That's all it looks like. So the first thing, we have it in place. Now let's continue. Raj, I'm going to bring you back out of the session. Thank you again for helping me out. I'm going to put you in read-only again. Okay. So you should be read-only again. Now let's spin the wheel, and somebody's going to help me with the next piece of the code. So the next piece is that we're going to be adding, we're going to be now replacing that background color that we have hard-coded, and we're going to be doing the first widgets inside. So let me spin the wheel, and let me see who's going to join. So I'm going to pick the person out of the list, and then you're going to help me out. So the next person, oh, Raj again. So you see, this the beauty of the randomness. So Raj, you're up again. So let me close and bring you back again. I just wanted to be fair to everybody, and I'm going to bring you back again. So you should be read-write. After we have our utils in place, now what Raj is going to do, he's going to be replacing that hard-coded background color in the scaffold, and he's going to be using one of those values that I have in the utils class. So it's a value called main color. So I like to create it like that and put like a bunch of things in a utils class. That way it's all in one single class and you can reuse it everywhere. Now what Raj is going to do, he's going to create the first widget that we're going to be adding to the body of this scaffold. So let me help you out a bit here. Raj, or actually you can do it yourself as well. So add the body of the scaffold, and in the body of the scaffold, add a center widget. So that's what Raj is going to do right now, is the code that we see on with step R. We're step 5. So in step 5, inside of the scaffold, we're going to be creating a center widget, and then that center widget is going to be containing a column widget. So if you see like that, everything in Flutter is a widget, whether it's like a center widget, something to center things in the screen, a column widget that lays things out vertically or like vertically, right? And then you can add stuff into it. So Raj, let me help you out a bit so that you can format it well. So there it is. So sorry to step over you. I just wanted to make sure that we break it out like that. Oh, you still want to do it like that? Okay, that's totally fine. So what Raj is doing, again, he's doing the body of the widget is going to be a center widget with a column widget to lay out the widgets vertically, and he's going to add 2 images. So that is how you do it in Flutter. So you can add things, you can lay them out, add images, and image is another type of widget, so you can do that. So why don't you break the lines, Raj, so that we can see like the code a little bit better. So if you could, we can just read the code a little better like this. There you go. I hope I didn't mess you up. But inside of the column now, Raj is going to be adding two children. Are going to be the 2 images. So we're going to be loading 2 images. Images are also widgets in Flutter. You can pull images from your assets, like in your folder of your application, or you can just pull them from the network. That is exactly what Raj is doing. He's pulling 2 images out of the network, and then we're going to be displaying. Those 2 images are like the donut logo, and then like the title. So you can again, like I said, you can pull images from your assets, or you can pull images from the network. You can even add like icon fonts. We're going to be showing some icon fonts in a minute. So let's wait for Raj to finish that piece. So he's adding like exactly like those two images, which I can just show you right here. So this is the code. We're step 5 in the code lab, and then he's adding those 2 images. Perfect. So let's see where he's at. Okay, perfect. So we're adding also some dimensions to the images. You can add dimensions to images like width and height. And then that way you can constrain your images to be like one particular dimension. Got it. So and then Raj is going to do now add the second image, which is also pulling it from the network. And but yeah, you can even copy paste it like that. Perfect. And then I think just the dimensions are a little bit small, actually a little bit bigger. It's like 150 pixels. In Flutter, we work with actual pixels as opposed to like density independent pixels, because the system takes care of that for you. And because you're painting everything on the screen, you can just make sure that everything is in logical pixels, right? So he's adding the second image, which is a width 150, and then the height is also 150. So after Raj finishes with that, we're going to reload the application, and let's see what that looks. So Raj, so I think you should be good. Let me bring you back again to read only. Thank you again for contributing. You've been amazing because you've been actually helping me out a lot. So let me just recap on the code again. So we have a center widget as part of the scaffold, and then we have a column. So inside of that column, we are laying out 2 widgets, 2 image widgets. Yeah, it should be part of the utils. Yeah, the donut logo, we have white no text. That was the one that I think we wanted. And the logo, the donut logo, white text. That is the one, exactly, this one right here. So I'm just gonna fix these ones for you real quick. Then that's it. So we have the 2 images. We have one image right here. And then the other image is, you have to also say image.network, and then you pass the image like that. So that was it. So now that you have the 2 images inside of a column with some dimensions specified to them, if you can see them like that, now I'm going to save, and I'm going to reload the application. So I'm just going to reload. I'm just going to hit Shift R to reload the application. And now you see those 2 images, right? So now we have to make sure that those 2 images are actually lined up vertically. How do you do that? In the code lab, I'm showing you how to align those 2 widgets like that. So in the code, in order to do that, you have to add these 2 properties. You have to add, we want to align them vertically and horizontally. So you use, in the column widget, you use main axis alignment and cross axis alignment. So here at the column level, like right here inside of the column, you can do main axis alignment, and then you say main axis alignment dot center, and then you do cross axis alignment. That means horizontal alignment. So you do cross axis alignment of main axis alignment dot, I'm sorry, cross axis alignment, sorry about that. Cross axis alignment dot center. What this ensures is that you vertically and horizontally align the widget. So by saving and reloading, we're going to be seeing those two widgets reload. And there you go. So it's there. That's it. So basically, you've built the splash screen. So in a very simple way, you have a splash screen. But now you want to proceed and you add more cool stuff to this screen. For example, you want to be able to navigate to another page from this splash screen. You want to navigate to another page, you have to add like some navigation capabilities. But first, you need that dummy page that we want to navigate to. So now who's going to help me out and help me out with the next widget, which is the donut shop main widget, which is now the kind of like the landing page. We're going to be building that page as just dummy, very simple, just so that we have something to navigate to. So I'm going to spin the wheel and let's see who's going to help me out. I'm going to spin it right now. I'm just going to spin it, and then whoever I pick, then you can come up. If anybody else just joined and wants to help out or want to be part of the session, I can add you if anybody joined late. So Chandra, you're up now. Hope you can help me out. So Chandra is going to the next page, which is the donut shop main widget. So I'm going to bring you, Chandra, I'm sorry. So let me bring you up. I'm going to make you read and write. There you go. So so you're there, you're up. Now here you can drop that class. Actually, let me collapse this one. You can actually go right where the cursor is, and then you can add that custom page. So that custom page, again, remember when you're creating custom widgets, you have to either make them stateless widget or stateful widget. What Chandra is going to be creating right now is a custom class as a stateless widget because we're not going to maintain any state. He's gonna, and then for every custom widget, you always have to override the build method. The build method is what the framework calls to build the widget structure. So you see, he's building the class. It either has to be stateful or stateless. He's gonna be overriding that build method using exactly calling it widget build and then providing exactly, there you go. And then every build method takes a context. The context is nothing more than a handle to the location of that widget in the widget tree. And then from there, you can pull stuff that you want out of your, out of the system, like the width of the screen, themes and whatnot, and all of that. So Chandra is also creating a scaffold because usually every page starts with a scaffold, and also adding a center widget. A center widget, like you saw, just center things. That's all he does. And then inside of the center widget, he's going to be adding a text widget. The text widget is nothing more than just displaying text on the screen. So it's very simple. He's going to be adding the text that says, hello, donut shop. Very simple. We're going to be doing something truly simple. There you go. So that is the class right there. And with that, Chandra is done. And the only thing is just that you added this extra thing right here. But other than that, Chandra is done. Thank you so much for helping me out. I'm going to bring you back again to read only. Yeah, perfect. You can just continue looking at the code if you want. Now that we have our class created, how do we use it? So this is just like one class, one little custom widget that we have. Now we want to be able to navigate from the splash screen to this screen. How do we do that? Let's go to the next step, which is step number 6, where we're going to simulate how to this splash screen delay. So we're going to be waiting like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever. After that delay, then we navigate to the next page. So you see, we have the splash, we wait a few seconds, and then we navigate to the main page, let's say. So who's going to help me out and do that with me? So I'm going to spin it again. Let's see who's going to come up and who's going to now introduce that delay in the splash screen to then navigate to the next page. Paul, you're up. You wanted to see what Flutter was about. Now you will see what it is about. So I'm going to bring you up. I'm going to select you and let me see. Are you, I don't know why he's showing me, for some reason he's not allowing me to, interesting. For some reason he's not allowing me to add you as a, to either read only or something. So are you, oh, probably, maybe he's not connected. Maybe he dropped off. You're in there, Paul? Because I can't add you as read only. I see, is this you, Paul, in the cursor? For some reason, I can't add you as, do you mind reloading and joining again? For some reason, I see everybody but you here. Like I can see, for example, like I can do make, read, and write to you. So would you mind reloading your session? I'll bring you up. After this one, I'll bring you up. I'll pick somebody else, but then I'll bring you up. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate your support. So try to join again, and then I'll bring somebody else, and then I'll bring you right after. So let me spin it again, and then somebody else now is going to help me out with this. So I guess the fate wants you to do it. Yeah, I think Destiny wants you to code. So I mean, I'll try. I'll wait for a few seconds for you to join, but I'll spin it again. But again, I promise I'll bring you up again because I still don't see you in the list. So I'll spin it again, and then let me see who's going to do it. So we have Samina. You want to come up? Let's do you. I see you there. So now let me bring you up. So I'm going to make you read and write. And now I'm going to bring you up. You're going to now help me out in introducing this concept in Flutter called futures. So a future is an operation that is to be executed in the future. It's kind of like a reference to an object that is going to be executing in the future. So Flutter also has this kind of like in the web, you also have promises. You also have like observables and stuff like that. So this Flutter future allows you to even introduce a delay. So it's like a delayed computation. So what you're going to be doing, Samina, is inside of the splash page, you're going to be adding the concept of a future. So you're going to be adding a future, and then that object of future is going to have a delay. You can add 2 seconds to that delay, and then inside of that delay, after the 2 seconds elapsed, then you're going to be able to perform a navigation to the next page. So you're going to be using the navigator.off option, which what it does is that it allows you to use the context object that was given to that custom widget. And then you can pull the navigator, the navigation capabilities of Flutter using the context. So you do navigator.off context. That means you're pulling the navigator from the system. You're going to be able to have access. Perfect. You're going to be added right inside of the build method on top of the scaffold. So again, like I mentioned, futures in Flutter, they're very useful when you want to introduce delays, when you want to do like a delay in the computation. You want to defer like the execution of something to a later time, so you can do it like that. Are you having any issues? Are you a read only? Let me make sure that you are. Okay, so you're good. You can just start right away, and then you can do that piece of code, the future.delayed, and then you add that duration of 2 seconds. After the 2 seconds, then we perform the navigation. Perfect. Just wanted to make sure that you're good, that you have access to the code, and then you're able to do it. Otherwise, what I can do is, if you're having any issues, any technical issues, I can bring somebody else. Oh, it says that you're slow. I mean, you're slow in connection, or you're slow normally. I mean, it's okay. We're here again, like I said, to learn together, to learn how to architecture applications, how to build stuff really cool. After this, I'm going to be showing you like how to do like animations and stuff, like right after this. Slow typing, for some reason, I don't get your code in here. So it's either that your code is not making it over. Yeah. Okay, no problem. I mean, no problem whatsoever. It's just that for some reason, like the code, I'm not reaching the code. I'm not seeing the code that you're typing in here. So I'm gonna make you read only again, and again, appreciate the help. I can do this real quick so that you guys can see it. So the way to do this is, again, you create a future object. You just type future, and then you do .delayed. You see in the IntelliSense, like you have a delayed option. The delay takes 2 parameters: a duration that you add in, you're creating like an object of duration, and then you add the duration either in seconds, milliseconds, and whatever. So you add 2 seconds of delay, then you add a callback. What this means is after the 2 seconds, I'm going to call that callback. That's what Flutter does. And then inside of your callback, you perform the navigation to that new page that we created called donut shop main. So let's do that. So the way that you do it is you say navigator dot off. You pass the context. That means I'm pulling the root navigator so I can add another page to the navigation stack. And then all you have to say is push replacement. So you have like a lot of other options on how to push pages to the navigator stack. So I'm going to be use push replacement, and then I'm just going to instantiate the new page, like the donut main. I'm just going to pass it, but I'm going to wrap it inside a what they call a route. So I have to instantiate a material page route. I pass a builder. A builder, again, is kind of like a method that performs the building for you. And then you pass the context to this. And all we're doing is just wrapping the page that we want to go to inside a route. That's how the navigator works. You have to give it a route. Then he takes care of loading your page. So now I'm just going to say donut shop main. There it is. And then after you've done this, and then if I save it and reload your application, now you will see the page waiting 2 seconds and then navigating to the next page. Simple as that. With this little bit of code, we were able to introduce a delay for 2 seconds. Then with the navigator.off, perform a navigation to the next page. So I'm going to reload it again so you can see it. So we have the splash screen, 2 seconds, then navigate to the next page. Awesome. We're making amazing progress. Is everybody good? Is anybody good in the chat? Everybody following along? Again, like I said, all these code labs are for you to do your own applications, but to mostly to join in this collaborative experience. But after this session, you can go on and do your own stuff as well. Let's run the application. I just ran it. You saw it. And I can even copy exactly this same code. Like I mentioned before, you can copy this same code and I can run it in DartPad. I should get exactly the same result. So look, I'm going to go to DartPad. I'm just going to copy paste exactly that code. And then if I run it on DartPad on the web, I should get exactly the same thing. No difference whatsoever. You see how cool it is working on DartPad and building Flutter. You can build stuff for the web right away. So that's what I love about it. Great. Awesome. Shava asked a question. Yes, control space. Yes, thank you. That is a good one, of course, for the completion on the IDE. Thank you very much for that tip. Awesome. Doing like, you can do control space and control plus to actually do like the type ahead and whatnot. Great. Let's continue with the next piece of the code lab, where we will be doing now an animation. That's why I added like a bonus to this lab, because I'm going to show you how to create animations, very simple, and add like a coolness to your applications. Your applications don't need to look like static all the time. You want to bring like a coolness factor to your applications. Add animations. They're free and they're very simple to implement. So let me show you how to do that. Actually, I need some help. So I'm going to be pulling some people over so you can help me out building this piece. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is converting this widget, the splash page widget, into a stateful widget. Why are we turning it from a stateless to a stateful widget? Because when you're building animations in Flutter, those animations actually, they're maintaining state, because the way that the execution performs. And then because of course an animation is nothing more than a sequence of frames put together that give the illusion of motion. So you kind of have to maintain some sort of state between the beginning of your animation and the end of your animation. So, and we have two types of animations in Flutter: explicit animations and implicit animations. Explicit animations are very you have more fine-grained control, while with implicit animations, you can just use them right out of the gate. And then, with just a few lines of code, you can just immediately get an animation, because that you're deferring, you're compromising, actually giving up control over convenience for the implicit animations, which I invite you to explore as well. In the collab, I actually have a couple of links on those as well. So who wants to help me out and convert this splash page into a stateful widget? And it's very simple. I'm going to show you. So let's spin the wheel. And I'm going to spin the wheel. And again, if anybody just joined and you want to be part of the experience, drop your name on the chat or just give me a +1. I'll add you to the list. Samina, I give you another chance. No problem. I just wanted to make sure that if you want to try again, just wanted to make sure that you were having some technical difficulties. No problem whatsoever. Actually, Paul, I owed you one. So let me see if you're available. Oh, see, for some reason, it's not allowing me to add. So I owe you that one, buddy. For some reason, it's not allowing me to bring you up to the stage. It's a little bit weird. Samina, I'm going to bring you up. So I'm going to make you read right again. And then we're in the splash page. The way, like a shortcut, kind of like what Shava mentioned, I'm gonna give you also like another shortcut in the splash page. If you have a splash page and it's a stateless widget, you can right click and even like right here, you can even say actually not right click, you can just select it and you get this little a yellow light bulb. You can convert it to a stateful widget right out of the gate. So Samina, do you want to do the honors? Are you able to access the code now? I'm going to show the code lab for folks to show. And then all we have to do again is convert this stateless widget into a stateful widget. So let me know if you're having some technical issues again. Technical, okay, so I see, got it. Okay, I see that a few folks are having issues with the experience. But again, please continue on your own using the code labs. And if you want to continue in DartPad, that's totally fine. I see that the tool is not being very friendly with us today. So I can pick somebody else, or I can actually do this piece for you guys. So let me just do this one real quick. So when you want to convert a stateless widget to a stateful widget, you actually have a two-step process. You have to convert the state. First, you have to have a stateful class, and then you have the state class, which is the one that maintains the state. So an easy way to do it in Visual Studio is just clicking on the light bulb, on this little light bulb, and then you can just click where it says convert to stateful widget, which if you see, it created two classes. One that extends stateful widget, and one that extends state. This is the one here where we maintain all the state. And you see that it already even moved like the build method down to this state class. That's how a stateful widget works. So you have to have the stateful widget and then the state class that extends stateful widget. And then this is where we will maintain the state. So after this, we're gonna just continue down the line. So how to add animations in Flutter? Very, very simple. So the first thing that you need to do is you have to add something called a mix-in if you want to do exactly explicit animation. So you want to do something called a mix-in. A mix-in is kind of like a way for you to inherit, like do like multiple inheritance in Flutter, but this one would allow to add some functionality to your code without compromising the inheritance. Because when you inherit, you have to say extends something. But then in this particular case, instead, because it doesn't support multiple inheritance, you can add a mix-in, and that adds more functionality as if it was multiple inheritance. So the way to do it is that you, in your state class, and is in the code lab, you can see it right there, you can add a mix-in called single ticker provider state mix-in. So quite a mouthful. But then here, all you have to do is just say with the state mix-in. State mixing, like I said, it provides some capabilities so that you can tap into the like you actually have synchronization between the system's clock and your application's frames per second. You want them to be synchronized, so the single ticker provider state mixin gives you that. So after you do that, then you can create the animation controller. Every animation needs a controller. Even when you are using explicit animations, behind the scenes, they're using a controller. So in this particular case, you have to create an explicit controller. So does anybody want to help me out with that piece? I'm going to spin the wheel. I see that, again, a few of you folks, definitely, yes. What Shava mentioned is correct. Like those type of animations give you like that pizzazz that your animation needs, like that oomph that your application requires, that gives you that coolness factor. So I'm gonna spin it again. Let me see if I could get somebody else. I can take you out if you're having difficulties. But I see Chandru got picked. Let's see if he's able to join me in this session. So let me see. I think you're there, and then I'm gonna bring you up. So I'm gonna make you read and write. And there you go. So what I would require you to do in this part of the CodeLab is adding two pieces to the state. So what we're going to be adding here in the state, and let me know that you have the code, the accessibility. Perfect. So we're going to be adding two type of properties, an animation controller and the actual animation. So the animation controller controls the animation. And then you have a bunch of properties in there that you can use to control the animation. Then the animation is the thing that gets generated out of, you plug it to the animation, the controller, you plug the controller to the animation, and then you can tweak it by setting up, for example, like like the beginning and the end of the animation, how fast it can go, the curve of the animation, and so on and so forth. So what Chandru is doing, he's adding those two properties, the animation controller and then the animation. You said that the animation has a type, and this type is a double. What we want to do is, because it's an animation that requires a value, a double. In this case, is the rotation of that widget. So the widget that we're going to be doing, we're going to be implementing our rotation animation. Stay right there, Chandru, because I'm going to bring you up for the next piece. So after you have the controller set up, and then you have the rotation animation set up, now it's time for you to initialize it. In Flutter, when you initialize things in a stateful widget, you have to override the init state, the init state method. The init state method, and Chandra, if you want to go ahead and do it, so you're going to be overriding the init state method. The init state method is called by the system, by Flutter, when it mounts your widget into the widget tree. So immediately it gets mounted, it calls init state. So there is where you instantiate and you initialize stuff like your controllers and whatnot. So you need to make sure that you override, that you override the init state. You call super.init, making sure that you continue the sequence of initializations, like, down the hierarchy. I see. Okay, so I hope I'm still good. Okay, I hope people still see me. And then now you add you initialize the controller. So we're calling it donut controller. So in this controller, when you initialize that controller, you need to pass a duration. You need to pass itself, like the widget, the class itself, as the vsync. Vsync is the parameter that you pass to a controller to tell it which is the widget that is going to be providing the synchronization capabilities. Remember that I told you that the single taker provider state mixin is that capability that you add to your widget that gives it like the synchronization aspect. This is what this means. And last but not least, when you instantiate the controller, then you can call, using this syntax, the dot syntax, kind of like the spreader operator. You can then call it. This is kind of like the way for you to, without instantiating something, you can just call a method right away. You can just do, new something dot, and then you can start calling methods on that instance. So what Chandru created right now, he instantiated the controller, he added a duration, and added itself, the class itself, like this reference, as the vsync of this animation. And of course, what we're saying at the end is saying repeat it forever, like always repeat it nonstop for 5 seconds. Like after the 5 seconds elapse, just repeat it again. Stay right there, Chandra, so you can help us out with the next piece. After instantiating then the animation, now we want to do then the animation controller. Now we want to do the rotation animation. Then creating the animation, we use tweens. Tweens is short for between. And then what you do is you instantiate a tween object, you give it the begin, when your animation begins, and then you give it when it ends. 0 and 1 is usually the two values that you use. And what this means is when you're wherever your animation begins, usually at 0, and then when it ends is at 1, that means do the full animation, as opposed to like halfway through the animation. You could do like 0.5, that means like halfway through the animation. But if you do begin 0 and end 1, that means do the whole animation completely for 5 seconds and then continue rotating. That is exactly what Chandra is doing. He's adding the two parameters required by tween, which are begin and end. Then after you do that, and then you add a begin and end to your to the tween object, then you do dot animate. You immediately execute the animation, or actually set up the animation. It's not executing yet. So what you're just saying is like, I want that from beginning to end, perform the full animation, and then animate it using a curve animation. That is exactly what Chandru is doing. So he's adding, you see, in the code lab, we're actually showing it right here. Like we're showing that in the to the animation, to the animate method, we're passing a curved animation, and then you pass as the parent of that animation the controller. In not only the controller, you pass the curve, like how smooth you want the animation to perform. So if you see here, I'm going to be dropping this to the next line, Chandru. Sorry, I think I may mess you up. So there it is. So we add, actually, okay, so I think you're still typing in there. But again, after you instantiate the tween, like you see right there, you're going to then do animate, and you pass the animation to that tween. Then you pass the controller, the one that we created above, and then you pass the curve. Perfect. So now that we're there, I'm gonna bring you off. So thank you very much again, Chandra. You helped a lot. I'm gonna bring you again back to read only. But again, like I said, just wanted to make sure that everybody follows along, and then you see I have all the explanations in there as well. Now that you've instantiated all that in the init state, now it's time to apply that animation to our desired widget. After I have the controller set up, the animation created, now we want that widget animation to now apply to that widget that I want to do, which is the image. So in this image right here, this the top image widget, we're going to apply that animation. So who wants to help me out and join me? Yeah, thank you very much again. Who wants to help me out and do the next one? Oh, are you still? I think you're still read. Wait, hold on. Are you scrolling? You're scrolling on my page. Okay, but let me just save it. Let me make sure. Yeah, are you read only? Okay, I think it's just read only. It just allows you to scroll. Anyway, that's fine. Let me just spin the wheel one more time. Let's see who can help me out. Again, if anybody just joined right now and you want to help out, please let me know. Raj, are you still available to help out? Let me bring you up. Let me see. Yeah, let me now make you read and write. Perfect. And now the thing that we need to do, what Raj is highlighting the whole thing. Now we need to apply an animation to our desired widget, which is just the top image that has the donut logo. What we want to do after you create the controller, then you create the animation. Now you want to apply that to a widget. And for that, the framework has some widgets available. Again, remember I mentioned explicit animations, implicit animations. So we're going to be adding an implicit animation widget called rotation transition, which provides you like with a rotation transition. And then to that, you just give it the animation and voila, you're done. So Raj is going to wrap this image widget, the top one, he's going to wrap it into a rotation transition widget. Remember that I mentioned that everything in Flutter is a widget? Even animations are widgets. There is a rotation transition widget that all you have to do is just wrap the desired widget that you want to apply the animation, and then just wrap it around it, and then that's it. Raj, are you good? Are you good? You're not good. Oh, you're still not. Let me see. Are you good with the accessibility? Are you able to get to this piece? Sorry about that. I mean, I can do it for you if you're not able to for some reason. Like, yeah, I think Raj is having like some technical issues. Anyway, I can do it real quick for you guys. The only thing that we need to do here again is just grab the first image, the image.network. I'm gonna just cut it, just simple. Or you can use a shortcut to wrap it. Like you can just come over here and select the desired widget. And then here in the little yellow light bulb, you can just say wrap with, and then you can say what type of widget. In this particular case, I'm just going to say wrap with widget. These are like some other shortcuts that you have available for you. So I'll say wrap with widget. And then you see now it already wrapped it as a widget, but it's not the widget that I desire. Now let's pick that rotation transition widget. I'll say rotation transition. Right? You see rotation transition, and then it already has the child, which is that image. Now the rotation transition needs one parameter. It has a property called turns because it's a rotation transition. One of the properties is turn. So how do you apply the turns? You apply the animation that you set up here. Look, so we have the rotation animation, which is a tween that begins at 0 and ends at 1, meaning do the full rotation. Do a linear curve animation, and use as a controller the parent controller is the donor controller, which is the one that provides the duration and how to perform the animation. In this case, the animation controller tells it do 5 seconds and keep repeating all the time, and the animation says do it from the beginning to end using a linear curve. That's what it is. So if I come back over, I just applied the rotation animation to it. I just save it. And then if I reload my code now, sorry about that, I'll just do Shift R. And then if you reload, you see the spinning. I'm gonna increase the delay so that you can see it. I'm gonna do like 10 seconds. And then now I'm going to reload, and now you will see that animation happening. So if I reload my application, you see the donut spinning. Pretty cool, right? So you see, very simple. You can just use the widgets available by the system, either explicit or implicit animations. You can create your animation controller. You can create your animation, and then you apply that animation to that explicit animation widget. You have rotation transitions. You have slide transitions. You have fading transitions. You have a bunch of those kind of cool transitions that you can use right out of the box for free. Like I said, you add that pizzazz, that extra oomph to your application to make it look cool. So I would encourage everybody to continue working on the code labs that I've provided. I've already, again, like I said, I provided those 2 code labs. The code lab for, again, the splash screen, which is the one that we just completed. And if you see here, this is the complete code for this code lab. So I would encourage everybody, again, to continue pursuing your the Flutter journey if you want to continue learning Flutter. Follow those code labs that I've provided. I'm going to be dropping also in the chat the 2 following code labs. If you continue all the way, like the whole series of code labs, you're going to be able to build this application, and then you can mimic that, apply to your own applications, implement like state management and whatnot. Of course, because of the time constraints and some difficulties, we couldn't get to that point. But at least the collabs that I've provided in the series are going to be able to let you do that. At least I was able to cover animations, which is what I wanted, and I wanted to make this very engaging and very collaborative. Awesome. Great. So I'm just going to be dropping now the link to the next to the other code labs 3 and 4. Like these are like some bonus code labs. Remember, the 2 code labs are pinned to the top of the chat. Here I'm going to just be adding you the next 2 bonus code labs number 3 and number 4, that allow you to build this application completely from scratch. It gives you like the cool things about state management, gives you more animations, animated lists and whatnot. Let me show you again the application, how it's going to look after you complete it. You're going to have, again, like a blast. So I'm just going to show you right here. I'm going to drop it here in the code. You can even copy it if you want. Again, those of you who have access to the LiveShare. And then I'm just going to, if I reload the application, let me show you again what it's going to look like. So you're going to have your splash screen. You're going to have like page viewers. That is in the code lab. You're going to have list views with animated items. You're going to be learning about the hero widgets, animation. You see, this is another rotation transition that I've added there. How to add things into the code, like into state management using provider. Add things in the, like as a favorites. You can, all of these things are in all of those code labs. So I hope that everybody continues the learning journey in Flutter, follow these code labs, and continue pushing, creating really cool applications and creating cool stuff in Flutter. Awesome, very. Lorraine, I'm so glad that you say that. I love that. I love having new people joining these sessions, because this is what I wanted to do. Bring you from zero to hero, building cool applications that you can very easily follow. I put together this again with all the love, for you guys, for all those Flutter fans, so that you can also build cool applications as well. I don't want to retain all of that. So yes, great, thank you. And yes, of course, why not? Also, again, this same collab, I'm gonna be posting it in my portfolio. If you follow Roman Just Codes and then you go to the workshops, like I mentioned here in the workshops page that I have, these are all beginner workshops that you can follow and do it yourself as well. See, like I have other applications that look pretty much similar that you can build much easier as well. You can follow these code labs. I'm going to be adding these same code labs here tomorrow, so you're going to be able to have beginner, intermediate, and advanced code labs if you want to continue on that journey. So I hope you guys, I'm going to be dropping this link also in the chat so that you guys can drop it in there. That link is there. You can follow along. Tomorrow, I'm going to be dropping all these links, but you can copy it right now, the ones that I've dropped in the chat. So let's continue. Let's just wrap it up with just, this small. Thank you, Paul. Again, sorry that you couldn't join my session, like the live code. And now I'm just going to do like a quick last interactive session with you guys so that we can just let you go to the next session. Join at slido.com with the code 880870 to test your knowledge in Flutter. What you picked up during this session, let's see how much you picked up. So I just wanted to make it very interactive. Again, I'm not giving any grades after this. It's just a simple quiz just to get you engaged, just to get you your Flutter juices going. And again, like Lorraine said, to inspire you to do applications in Flutter. So yeah, join the quiz at slido.com with the code 880870. Again, totally optional. You don't have to, but at least I'm just going to be sharing like some things that you want to do like in Flutter, how much you've picked up in this session. And again, please follow me on Twitter. I can, you can DM me. You can follow me in my YouTube channel. I want to accompany you in your journey in Flutter. So if you want to continue learning Flutter, please let me know. I'll be able to help you out. So I'm just going to give a minute for you guys to join. And I'm going to be popping some questions for you guys. And then after that, we'll wrap it up. And then I definitely encourage you to join the upcoming sessions that we have so that you can, have a lot of fun. Make sure to claim those Uber Eats credits so you can get your lunch on us. Thank you. So let's start. Question number 1, for those of you joining, what is the most important method in a Flutter app? I mentioned it. You can take a guess if you guys don't remember it, but what is the most important method in a Flutter app? That method that you call to launch the application. I typed it for you. Let's see if you remember. So the main method in the most important method in a Flutter app, what is? I see a few people already have already tried to take a guess. So the answer is yes, it is the main method. It's not the run-up method because that's part of the system. It's a system method. It's part of the Flutter framework. And the build method is another type of method. Also important. Now, what is the most important method in a Flutter widget? You guys saw it that a few of you guys were overriding that method. So you were overriding that method. What was that important method in Flutter, in a Flutter widget? Not on the application itself, but just on a widget. What is the most important method? In a Flutter widget, some people are saying the init state. Some people are saying the build method. The right answer is the build method. Init is very important. Init is very important. But the build method is the most important because the Flutter, everything that you see on the screen that gets rendered occurs inside of the build method. The init state, it gets called by the system, but it's just for initialization aspect. Purposes, but the build method is the most important. Which of the following widgets takes more than one child? Like it has a children property. We saw something, take a guess. We may not have tackled this one in this particular case, but think about it. Which one you think may provide like it has a children property, it can take more than one. Some people are saying container, some people are saying stack. The right answer is stack. Container has a property called child. Is only one child that it takes, but you can add a child that has a huge structure underneath it. So a stack is the one that takes more than one child. It's called children. It has a children property. The next one, which one of the following widgets align its widgets on top of each other in a layered fashion? So which one is in a layered fashion, like on top of each other like that? Some people are saying column, some people row. The right answer is a stack. because it gives you that layered approach. So that is the stack. It gives you that layered approach. Which one aligns these widgets vertically? So now you see we're dealing with those widgets that align your widgets like in different positions. Like this particular case, we want something vertically from top to bottom. So which one are you guys saying? Some people are saying column, and the answer is correct. It's the column. You line the widgets up and down, like from top to bottom. The next one, which widget can you use to add margin to a child widget? Is it a margin widget? Is it a container widget or a constraint widget? Does it even exist? Like which widget you think you can give a margin to a widget? We didn't touch that one. I just wanted you to take a guess. So which type of widget gives you that type of capability? The right answer is the container, not the constraint. That doesn't exist. Not even margin. That doesn't exist either. The container is the one that has a property called margin. That's why we use it. And this one, how about if everybody remembers this one? Everything in Flutter is a widget. Is it true or false? Is everything in Flutter a widget? True or false? Take a guess. Like I was mentioning, like all the things that we were building, whether like that is like if this is true. Does this hold true? Is everything in Flutter a widget? I see people are shy in taking a crack of this one, but that's totally fine. But the answer to this question is true. Everything in Flutter is a widget. And then that's it. Shava, you answer all of them, but you missed the last one. But anyway, awesome, great. So everything in Flutter is a widget, or maybe I might have been having some difficulties anyway in there. But other than that, again, I just thank you so much, everybody. Let me just finish this piece. I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for joining. I had a blast. Again, minor technical difficulties, but that comes with the territory. Please follow me on Twitter if you want to continue getting like more content like this, like interactive sessions of this sort. And thank you so much for joining this session. If you don't have any, if there are no questions in the chat, please let me know. I'm gonna be hanging out. Thank you, Raj. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna be hanging out in one of the networking tables in the mobile one. If you have any questions, let's go there. You can ask me. But now I will have you go to the next session if you want to go. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining, and see you on the next one. Please enjoy the rest of this DevFest. Thank you, everybody.